Alright guys, we should be going live here in just a second. Looks like it's connected up. We'll start here in just a minute. This is going to be pretty informal today. I have several charts I want to draw up, mostly high time frames of. So some will go through like weekly, daily, 4-hour, and then younger coins will go through daily, 4-hour, maybe glance at 1 hour. But I just switched to the dark background charts, and I want to redraw everything. So it's a lot of charts to go through overall. Let me grab the link here for the YouTube, post it up on Twitter. Alright, I disconnected my VPN. Sorry about that. You may have lost the feed for a minute, but we should be back up. Miliranga, what's up? What's going on? Let me know if there's any coins specifically you'd like to see. A lot of charts I've already drawn. Well, like my primary charts I've already drawn. Like Link, I've already drawn on this one. I think this thing's about to moon. I don't believe we've seen Parabolic yet. I don't think we're even close to Parabolic through the markets yet. Okay, let's start on high time frame Bitcoin, and as people join, they can let me know what they want to see. Said the video is blurry. Let me see. Looks a little blurry on my side as well. When I open up the YouTube live, we should have HD, so perhaps it's a setting in my... Better now? It's probably from when I disconnect. Yeah, there we go. It does look better. It's probably from when I disconnected my internet. I turned my VPN off. Alright, so what we're doing today is going through a bunch of charts that I have not drawn on yet. Obviously, I've already drawn on this 4-hour of Bitcoin, but we're going to go out to like the weekly because I haven't drawn on it. Let me know what you guys think about the new colors, if you like the new colors. Overwhelmingly, people voted on Trader Cause's poll that they prefer the dark background, and I decided to give it a shot. First of all, because I share content, but also because, I mean, I have migraines all the time, so I thought maybe it would help to switch. And actually, so far, it seems to be helping pretty immediately, so maybe I'm imagining things, but we'll keep it up and see what it does. I gotta pull up my Facebook here just in case my wife messages me. So my wife had surgery this past week, just a pretty simple procedure, but she's not really able to do too much for a couple weeks. So I have to monitor. If she messages me, I'll have to jump off and go get what she needs. All right, Bitcoin weekly. Black backgrounds for the win. Could I share the colors? Yeah, I can show you what colors I'm using. They're pretty close to my standard colors. Does that mean you like them and you want to copy them? So we're going to talk a little bit about accumulation. A lot of the charts I'm going to draw some quick accumulation schematics. Now this is like a Wyckoff idea, but I'm not going to go through all of the Wyckoff content, just what is most applicable to me. The basic idea of Wyckoff is that you have an impulse, and then behind the impulse you have a sell-off. Behind that sell-off you have a rally, forming some kind of range. So for me, it's like the important parts are the sell-off. Sell-off stopped here. We did have another sell-off here that created our range low. This was our rally. Mark the top of the rally. So you mark the top of the impulse, you mark the sell-off, you mark the top of the rally. It's not always this simple. Now if you switch out of log, you can see it looks completely different, right? So this is an area of accumulation right in here. We can also turn on the volume profile. Let me get rid of some of that old stuff. And your accumulation should happen where the most volume is. It should really line up with that. If it doesn't, then you probably have the chart wrong. I've reduced the value area down to 50 so that I'm only catching the middle 50%. So once I mark out those levels, it's a little easier to find the levels on log. But once I mark out those levels, I look at the volume profile and I look at where that volume is happening, see if there's anything significant through here. That would be really an area of accumulation. For Bitcoin, I like it just like this. And this is a 1 week accumulation range. So this is my basic chart. Let me know what you think of the colors. I'm going to try to stick with them for the most part. I guess it's shorter only because it's off by a digit. So I won't get too picky there. But you can see that this was a resistance in here, support, price action in here, another resistance, another accumulation right there as we try to break. So you've got a sell-off, you've got just kind of a B wave here, and then the final sell-off creating the range low, rally. Another sell-off here was not as strong as this one. It took pretty much just as long. So in Wyckoff, you're looking for less volume on the second sell-off. You're also looking for time. You want it to be clear. Wyckoff is about how people behave. So you want it to be clear that people don't really want to sell much in here. Now we had a capitulation from the COVID situation in here, and this ended up being quite a capitulation. But it was bought up and it got back above this level, which was a pretty clear sign that we were heading up. And at the time, I wasn't really looking at the market like this. I was looking more for a flat, for a Elliott wave continuation pattern, and that's just not where we were in the market. I should have been looking for this. And we got the final test here, and it's just been straight up since then. So now that we have this drawn, we can also derive targets from this. And the way that I like to do that, and this is a pretty new system, so I'm not saying that it's perfect yet, but I've tested it on a ton of charts, and it plays really well on a lot of charts. So we have the rally here, the range, the accumulation range high and the accumulation range low. I'm going to measure backwards on it. And this is our first target, second target, third target. So now we've already hit our first target, right? I'm going to take it to the end, probably here. think I only have it as 1 day, but that's a 1 week. But I'll keep the format there. Our second target is here. And our third target is here. So I'm just going to mark 3 targets right now. But let me just show you real quick how this applies on the past cycle of Bitcoin. So we had the impulse up, we marked the high. I missed the high. I don't know if you guys know this, but you can hit shift and it makes your line go straight. So I can go like this and the line's still straight. Our range low was here. Really our sell-off ended here. So this one kind of, the sell-off was here and then we had a rally to this point. But this is still within the range. So this is the low that's important to me. And this becomes our range right here. We can measure that range like this. And you can see we went first, second, third, almost to the fourth target. I think I actually had it measured previously from this, which you could do. We'll zoom out here in just a second and just make a decision on which one's stronger. But if we do that, then we're looking at hitting almost the 6th target. So really this is our base. So this has to be our rally right here. And this may make more sense as a range. What is our accumulation range there? Let me do that the other way, huh? So 100% accumulation range, 130% accumulation range. So that's probably pretty good, just like that. I guess it might be close to 130% here, 150. I think the range is pretty clear here. I think it's also pretty clear that I grabbed essentially the same low right here. Our rally happened later. So you could potentially say that this is our rally right here, giving us a little stricter targets if we're going to pull the exact same range targets here. So target 6 could be around 375. So we would actually be inside of target 2 right now. That's a little concerning. I think we could come up to close to 80K before a real correction though. Let me know if you have any questions on that. That's all I'm going to do. This is strongest on high time frames. That's all I'm going to do on a bunch of these charts for the high time frame, and then we'll go down to the lower time frame. I actually think we hit this 6th target or 5th target long term for this bull run. Around 380, I think it happens. You can see we fell just short of it here. So that is possible we fall short. So grabbing this high instead of this high, this is part of a basing pattern. And we have a basing pattern here, and we didn't use this high. So I think this actually makes a little more sense. I do like it this way. All right. What's up, Grandpa? I don't know what time it is there. You were like 14 hours ahead of us or some crap. So, is it like 1 a.m. on the 16th or something where you're at? I don't know. I'm not smart enough to figure that out. Like 3, 4 a.m. What other charts do you guys want to see? It can be any charts. I've got a request for Tomo already. 5 a.m. I was close. Coinbase. What's up, Noza? Happy hour. GRT. I'll look at GRT. So I mentioned that we will. Yeah, that was probably before most of you guys were on. On these old coins, we'll do weekly and daily. I think I've already drawn on the daily ETH though, so we won't really focus on it too much. So this chart's kind of tough here. I actually like this pivot here. Nah, I don't. I take it back. This is our rally here. And this is my sell-off low. This gives us a nice way to trade the range as well as you drop into this level of the range. As you drop back in, that's a good buy right in there. In most of our price action, typically what you see is that the main accumulation range lines up with this right over here. Works out pretty nicely. I still got to get used to where all of these are. And that gives us some pretty hefty targets for Ethereum. I'm looking at $4,000 soon. And I think we hit it. I'm not going to mark them all. I'm just going to mark this one for now. And if we go down to the daily, I don't really have too much drawn on ETH because ETH is just a weird chart. And also I'm on Coinbase. I didn't draw on Coinbase at all. We have a bunch of continuation patterns through here. These are all running flats, A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C. We have one on the lower time frame as well. Right here. Some kind of contracting flat here. And to be honest, I'm not sure what this is yet. If we go down to the 1 hour, we can do that same technique on the lower time frames where we've got really a range high here. Low here. The low was swept. And we started ranging right back here, right? So this is all in a range. This just gave us a high. This gave us a sweep of the high. This gave us a sweep of the low. We had a rally here. And probably this is our first sell-off right here. So in my opinion, ETH is going up out of this. One hour. No, I saved it. We might get some pullback. If we do get pullback, then I'm looking for a test of this range, right? Right in here. And then up to 4,000. And how realistic is that if we measure our range? First, second, third, fourth, fifth. That would be pretty high. I don't think we'll achieve it out of this range. We're going to have to correct and make another range at some point. But that's my long-term target. Nodes wants the MTA. I'm bullish on MTA, XCZ, and Link. I'll go SXP, Reef. Oh my gosh. All right, so you guys are, is your fib tool in log mode or not? Yes. I'm using log charts, and I'm using the log fib tool. I recommend that you do the same if you're trying to use any of these techniques. And I'm happy to answer questions. I'm still working on really diving into this. So this is something I've used in my system for a long time, but I haven't broken it down very well. You see here we've got some kind of like running flat. Not quite, it's an expanding flat WXY shape. W, X, Y. So this has been part of my system for a long time. But I wanted to start dissecting these a little bit better. And this is helping me do that with marking the ranges. Now that we got that sweep, it's a clear entry for long. We knew that this was the range low. Once this happened, we had the sell off. We formed a high, and then we sold off again. So that's our range low. And the sweep there was an easy entry. Now, I didn't take it. I wasn't playing ETH, but it was a very easy entry. So that's why I'm starting to do this. It's not new, but it hasn't been marked up on my charts in this manner before. I think we just go straight up. I don't know that we get a pullback here for entry into Ethereum. Let's look at Tomo first. I had a request for Tomo. I don't think the FTX chart has enough history. No, I'm not going to have too much. I'm not sure when this one hit the market. So we'll go ahead and mark up the Binance chart, but we're going to start on the daily. We had an obvious impulse here. This looks a lot like Link did through here. You've got a grinding pattern right here. KuCoin has the most for Tomo. Yeah, it's still not really all that helpful. What I do know is that we had a range low here. And this was kind of the sell-off. So reclaiming this was bullish. We have no idea where that high could be. This is important. So let's dissect that part. And we'll do that down on a 4-hour, most likely, maybe 8-hour. So this is our high. Let's mark off our high. And we just got above that high. So that looks great. We had a nice retest of the high. Very likely to run pretty hard. I'm going to go down a little bit lower here. And this gives us a nice accumulation range right in here. I like this as our range low. This is kind of our rally. and it provided support here. I'm not sure exactly where to mark the sell-off area. Let's just use this point. But that gives us a nice sweep of the range low. And we started expanding. This was a great running flat right here. Right here. And it's not running. Actually, it's just a regular flat. Should have had dash lines, but we're going to have to go through these pretty fast with all the requests. Retest the high looks pretty good. Accumulation through here. So essentially, you get a sell-off, you get a test in Wyckoff. This is the test. You get a rally. I can't remember what they call that. Something. I can't remember. Sign of strength. Sign of strength is what they call it. And then you get last point of support, sign of strength, last point of support. And this is probably right before expansion. If I had to guess, then we would be expanding out of this pretty soon. And you can see the 1 hour just ticked blue here. And we've got what looks like a nice running flat here. Just barely running. So again, we could get pullback on some of these coins, but this blue tick looks like we'd probably at least do this, and then we pull back. I would love to see something like this before we go up. But if I look at like YFII, it just looks like it's going to run. YFI2 looks pretty good. Link is right at the highs. Notice it says Tomo is at all-time high. So it must have been created kind of back in there. We don't have what the 2017 top would have been. All right, GRT. I don't think I can use the perp. Let's see. Wow. Yeah, I can use this. Missed opportunity. That's all I see. Missed opportunity. I bought some GRT and I sold it. But yeah, this is pretty easy dissection right here. This is our range low. This was our sell-off. This was our rally. Rally provided a last point of support right here. So you can see after the sweep below, we got a test. We got a last point of support. We got another last point of support right here. So one reason that I am trading coins like YFII and YFI is because I don't know what entries we can get up here. So look, we have this massive impulse, right? That's great. We had a flat here and a massive impulse out of it. But now, what is my target after this? It's hard to determine. Obvious running flat here for some kind of ABC. Price discovery could be massive, but it's hard for me to take a large position on this when I don't know what the target is and the ideal entry. Whereas if I go over to YFI, let's look on Binance for now. If I go over to YFI, I know that it just tested this high, or is in the process of proving that it can hold above the high. And I can catch this impulse up. So there's less questions for me on this than some of the others. Same on YFI. we know it's still doing this process. And I've got some massive potential here just to get back to all-time highs, and I can take a larger position. So something like GRT could still run 500 or 600%, great. But if I can't get a large enough position size, then it makes more sense to take a larger position and get 227% out of it. So that's essentially my mindset. I don't want to take on too many positions. GRT is probably a great opportunity. I'm not telling you not to trade it. I'm just telling you it's not somewhere where I'm currently interested in trade it. What else we got? I didn't even ask how the audio is. Can everybody hear me all right? XTZ. Link I've already got drawn up, but we can definitely look at XTZ. We're going to go to the high time frame chart on the XTZ. This is one I absolutely nailed the chart on. Okay, who is the longest history for XTZ other than CoinTrader? Guess it doesn't matter. I'll let you guys tell me if you know. Kraken. Yeah, that's it. So XTZ has some history back here too. Like it's been at 12 bucks before, but you can't see that unless you go to CoinTrader. But what we're doing here is reversing a downtrend. Actually, let me go ahead and put that back. It was around 12 bucks. So we are reversing a downtrend from back there. We've pretty much got an accumulation range like this. This is a gorgeous flat, and it's already breaking up. I don't think we're even close to targets here yet. I think XTZ has some massive potential. This wick is kind of crazy. Nice retest, but wow. How big is that? 18%. So you could use this as an accumulation range. That's what it is. It's a flat, well, reaccumulation range. But you can also go down to like the 8 hour, probably better. And we've got this, right? And turn off log and see it a little better on this one. Kind of like this would be our accumulation range. So it's a range within a range for a what should be an absolutely massive move. You had some kind of weird flat here, and then like a 1-2 or a basing pattern for a move up. Yeah, this is our flat and like a 1-2. It's never pretty to reverse a downtrend. Now that you start getting out of the downtrend, you start seeing the steeper moves. That's funky to me. So it's possible that something like this, and this could happen with a lot of coins. What if this is just an A wave here? And then we've got a B and a C before we go harder. So I mentioned that I'm not too interested in trading some of these where they are, But if they were to do this, then I would very much be a buyer, kind of right around this high here. But the potential is huge. Like, even if we do this, we're still talking about 70+% move before the C wave down. Yeah, if you own GRT since day one, then I don't see any reason to be selling too much of it. You know, maybe sell 30-40%. But that thing it still looks solid. I don't know what the market cap is. $2 billion market cap. I think we have to assume that everything's going to at least $5 billion if it's a decent coin, and likely very high, much higher. If you look at the top 10 right now, Link is number 10 at a 14 billion market cap. And I mean, I'm calling for Link to triple. So to be in the top 10, you're talking about a minimum of 42 billion. So for me to say that GRT is going to 5 billion is nothing. I don't think we've even scratched the surface here yet, guys. All right, so that's kind of what I got on XTZ. Link will cover it real quick, but I've already drawn the chart, so we're not going to go through the whole process. So this here was a 4-hour range. We've got a flat here. We started, we tested this, we moved up. So even this is like a weird looking flat. It's hideous. Don't get me wrong. It's an ugly, ugly flat. But I believe that's what it is. A, B, C. Now we've tested the highs. We can see it better on the 15-minute here. This sell-off was pretty strong. It was a pretty massive shakeout. It looks to me like we're probably going to pull back here. And maybe that aligns with something like this. I'd love to see this. This would be a great entry. Knows I didn't request any coins. Yeah, so I've already drawn MTA. I posted this earlier today in the Discord, and I did get a position on it. Nothing large. 1 hour momentum just turned positive. Shilling your bag. Your bag's going to go, don't worry. We got this nice flat here, reaccumulation. Here's our sell-off marked. I'm using this as kind of the more important range high. And this is our accumulation area. I probably won't always mark this. Sometimes I might mark it with just a line. But this is essentially what it is. I don't even have a 1 hour. Yeah, there it is. So as we break above this, perhaps we retrace from here. Perhaps we hit the high and retrace a little bit. But right now it looks pretty good. In fact, I'm kind of curious how my position's doing. It's all right. It could have been better. But I didn't go deep enough. I would probably add if we retrace into this range. Zoom out on this. And I'm looking for all-time high. This one was kind of hard for me to really try to get an accumulation range on because our accumulation is really right here. So, you know, maybe we have a rally right here. and then one more sell-off, and this is how we're projecting our expansion out of it. So I will definitely be taking some profits at the all-time high. I'm not going to be getting too greedy on this one because I don't see a large accumulation range. Like, I don't look at a daily and think this is an accumulation range. Maybe it's even worse, where this is our sell-off. Oh God, I just kind of scared myself. Hold on, let me go to a different chart. So this could happen to a lot of the new coins. What if this is our high, this is our range low, so this is our first bounce spot right here, right? I don't really know what to call a rally. So what if this is only the first sell-off and we haven't had the second sell-off yet? It would actually make sense. And it probably wouldn't quite get to that low. So this is a concern for me on MTA high time frame. So as we get close to that all-time high, I would definitely consider taking profit. Probably closing the entire position. But still, that's almost 3x from here, right? Like, we're at $4 now. All-time high was around 11. So you've got a lot of potential here, and I think it's going to go. MTA XEZ link. Algo is not a chart I'm familiar with. Oops. This is interesting to me because this is the same structure we see on XTZ. I've looked at it, but I haven't really dissected all this. But this can't be a flat because it's a reversal, not a continuation pattern. So it's kind of interesting. But we are obviously expanding out of it. This probably isn't the all-time high, but we're just going to use it. I would not be surprised if this pulls back to test this accumulation range either. That would be a massive pullback, kind of scary to think. So what we want to see to avoid that is that we do come up and test it and we get some kind of flat like this. Something I posted in the Discord just yesterday is that I'm worried we only have one more pump in the market for the time being. Don't take that as me being a bear. I am a full-blown bull. What I'm suggesting is, that we could have some kind of flat right here. Up to like 65 to 72,000, and then this pullback would really wreck alts. 35%. So if Bitcoin pulls back 35%, we could see some alts pull back 70%. So maybe that's how Algo does what I'm talking about there. Steve says it looks like a Batman pattern. SXP, I like SXP a lot. Grant. ask for the YFII chart. Let's go to SXP real quick. I glanced at YFII, but we can look at the bigger picture on it. Yeah, SXP looks good. Retested this accumulation range. That's what I like to see. I expect that it's headed up. We can go to daily here. Yesterday was a great buy opportunity, and I did buy a lot, but I didn't touch SXP. I probably should have. I don't know that we get this pullback. We may just go straight to the all-time highs. If we talk about Serum real quick, what did it do at this stage? Yeah, it just kind of ripped. Got a little bit of a pullback here. But I think this is the kind of rip we're looking for on charts like SXP. This also looks like a flat right here for more upside. So you got a 4-hour red flip. If this flips blue, this is what happens, right? You can see several examples where 4-hour flipped blue. Once we started trending, the 4-hour flip is a great entry. There was a flip right here too, actually, red to blue. And this is using MACD plus or just the MACD line. You don't have to have the bars filled to be able to take a look at it. Yeah, let's go back to YFII real quick. So YFII, we had a sell-off, we had a rally, we had another sell-off. So I've got the bottom of that sell-off marked. And this is what I like to, this is ideal. This is an ideal range where you have very clearly defined boundaries for top and bottom. So when I talk about when my targets are up here, first we're going to see some crap, right? It's not just going to go straight there. And we may even come back down here. I kind of love that. So imagine writing this to 10K. We get a re-entry at 3,000 and the target, the real target is 40,000. I'm suggesting we're in here, guys. This is a flat. The parabolic move starts after this. This is our parabolic move. So when I talk about 3,000 to 40,000 after a larger correction, I think it's very possible. Is YFII going to run to 1.5 million? I don't know. Probably not. It seems pretty unlikely. But if you look at it, the supply is only 40,000. Max supply is 40,000 coins. Let's just do 40,000 times 1,500,000. 1, 2, 3, 60 billion market cap. So we go back to the home page. We talk about currently the top 10 coins. You're at 14 billion. If a minimum 3x, that's 48 billion. A 60 billion market cap might put it at the 8th spot. Does YFII deserve to be number 8? It probably doesn't, to be honest. It's a fork of YFI. it probably does not deserve to be number 8. So will it get to 1.5 million per coin? That's a stretch target. But using some of these techniques, we can kind of project that that isn't terribly out of line. All right, what else we got? Reef. I don't know what Reef is. HTR. Okay, so we'll look at Reef and we'll look at OMG. Not a whole lot for me to dissect here. So this was really our impulse, and then we retraced from it. We definitely seem to be trending upward and not in a parabolic fashion yet. So, I mean, my suggestion would be that at some point it is going to go up faster than it currently is. And I don't see any reason that that wouldn't really happen sometime soon. Four hour looks pretty healthy. 1 hour is red. $15 positive, but it's coming back down right now. So I would be looking for something like this on Reef. And you want this low to hold. So essentially you want it to come down like this, up like this, and your entry is over here. And I don't have anything real deep on Reef to show you, just because the chart is not my favorite. But it does look like it's got potential with this uptrend, continuous uptrend for quite some time now. It's been uptrending since the 12th of January. This could be a large flat right here. It could even kick down one more time, so that would be a concern of mine. That would be one reason to wait for this kind of move, because it could be a flat like this with one more kick down, but it could also be complete. So you'd want to see 1 hour flip positive, and you'd want to see it get back over this. If the 15-minute turns red, I don't think it will. The low's probably in here, honestly. This is probably a flat, and this is probably the low. But if the 15-minute turns red, then a flip back to blue would be positive, would be a good entry. OMG, then HTR. Reef is a liquidity aggregator built on Polkadot. Look, I talk about charts. I don't know what half of that means. Just being honest with you. What is a liquidity aggregator? I'm not sure. Somebody has to put it in very basic terms for me to understand it. OMG, I said. Let's start high time frame on OMG. This thing looks good. This is probably going to pop. This is probably going to pop hard. Let's turn log off for just a second. Yeah, that's going to pop pretty hard here. We had a sell off low here. I mean, if this is our only rally, then we just retested the high of the accumulation range. And our accumulation really happened in here. So this to me looks like it's headed up to all-time high. 3-day got a red flip and then flip back positive, so that's a good continuation signal. We've got another accumulation right in here to get us up there. So the main reason I decided to really break it down the way that I'm currently showing you is because so many charts look just like this. There's no reason to ignore this pattern. Like this is our rally before another sell-off. So this accumulation is happening right on top of our higher time frame accumulation range. So that gives us some power to really move up. Now it could interact with this, could have some pullback before we really run to that all-time high, 30 bucks. It's a 5x from here, so it could take a while to get there. Something like that. These charts just blow my mind. The opportunity that we have in the next few months, I think, is pretty massive. Leo, I don't know a whole lot about Leo. Isn't that one of the Ftx coins? Wow. Wow. Yeah, I missed out on this one. Just a quick thought. What are we on? Weekly? This looks a lot like Bitcoin when it first started. And not quite as drastic, but you see there wasn't really any basing pattern. It just started going straight up. So from that first correction, we just started going straight up and kind of accumulating through here versus accumulating at the bottom. Weekly doesn't give us a whole lot of information there. Yeah, this is just an ugly chart. I don't have much insight on this. I do think it's headed towards this 199 type price and most likely higher. It looks like a lot of price action is you know, somebody's holding it down up here so that they can fill some buys. And now it's finally breaking out of that, which in itself is the definition of accumulation. Somebody is laddering their orders in, they're getting filled in here, driving the price up, but somebody seems to be artificially holding the price down here. This is not natural price action to me. So I'm not too big of a fan of that part of it. I believe it's began its expansion though, and it could speed up here. HTR, again, I have no idea what HTR is. It's only on KuCoin chart. Oh my god. So I personally would not be touching this. It looks great. Probably some opportunity there. But it's so high that I don't see any reason for me to invest in that. 130 million market cap. Let's just say it runs to 1 billion. That's still a 8x, 9x. Wow. Yeah. So I'm missing opportunities like this, but I can't dissect this chart, so I can't really say much. There's not anything I can do to get into this or really show to you. It's just a straight line up, and there's nothing else to say. Bitcoin looks good. Everything is starting to turn back up here. Bitcoin, Link, YFI, all turning up for me. My largest 4 positions are those 3 in YFII right now. Catching up on comments. Liquidity aggregator refers to technology that allows participants to simultaneously obtain stream prices from several liquidity providers or pools. So it's like 1inch. Tells you how much of a coin you can get out of a side at any given time. Yeah, that's actually the kind of simplification I prefer, Adam, so I appreciate that. But essentially, it's like 1inch. It probably goes up. And I'm not sure how these aggregators make money. Feel free to answer that. But like when you trade on exchange, there's fees for every trade. When you trade on Uniswap, an aggregator, how are they making their money? We know that exchange coins are worth something, they're valuable, but what about an aggregator coin? I don't think we have a solid example of what an aggregator coin's value is worth just yet. 1inch at $5. This is a massive accumulation right here. God, this is going to go hard, guys. I hadn't really looked at this. Look for a retest. But this thing is going to run. This would have been your ideal entry. If you didn't buy it, you're looking for a retest. Don't FOMO in right now. Again, it's one of those coins that's really just been a straight uptrend. Now we've got this sideways accumulation pattern that's probably going to lead to upside. Now the only thing that scares me is some kind of expanded flat here, and it's still possible. This could literally just do something like this and shake people out. You know, one example I have on this is the US dollar. If you go to DXY index, and I think this is going to dump, right? Let's go to daily here. We're waiting for the daily DXY to flip red. It's getting very close. Probably tomorrow or the next day. But I'm here because of this. Really all the way over here, right? So it had this uptrend here. And then it just faked everyone out. It looked like it was breaking out of a range, and it dumped down and then just reversed. Now you had some external impacts on this one. Fundamental impacts, I guess you could say. But this kind of shakeout isn't uncommon, so that would worry me a little bit. Just looking back through the coins you mentioned, Steez, I don't want to look at Elrond. I will do it just for you, buddy. Elrond audio. Uni. NOIA. It used to be that you were guaranteed that Binance had the most price history, other than some of the really old coins. But now it's not always the case. It looks like it's probably the case here. Again, we've got that same accumulation pattern here, a nice little base here. This is not a chart I'm ever going to look at again, so I'm probably not going to do too much formal dissection on it, but it had a nice retest of the highs here before moving up. This impulse is what I'm recommending trying to catch. If you find something that's breaking that high and has been riding that top for a while, look for this move up. Link has it. Link has already moved up. It's already started that first move. This was a nice capitulation, so it's probably headed up. 4 hour needs to flip positive. 1 hour has flipped positive, but appears to be pulling back a little bit now. Yeah, I think most of these coins need to reset just a little. And you're buying in here. Whether it's here or you wait for another pullback over here, it doesn't matter too much. And you could even wait until it does this, because you're expecting a lot of chop. Do you want to be invested in this while it does a lot of sideways? Maybe not. Maybe you just wait and you catch this move. And if this move never happens, if we never get to this spot, then you're not risking the downside too much. I'm not going to be able to get a chart on yield on TradingView. I don't know what YLD is. Is it this one? Yield Farming Insurer? I hate insurance, so I'll probably never invest too much in an insurance coin. We can definitely look at RSR. RSR is a good one to look at. Look at that 1 hour tick positive. That's nice. But let's zoom out here. Go to daily first. There's still not a whole lot of info on the daily. Isn't there more history on RSR though? Yeah, so this isn't really the chart I'm seeing. This is September or August of 20. And we should have back to May of 2019. So we'll just go to the 4 hour and take a look at the 4 hour. Again, a nice flat right here. And this appears like it was our tests. In the Wyckoff schematic, you've got the accumulation low right here, and that's the test of it. And your range low is either here or here. Kind of like this one. Maybe. because we had a test here, so actually this is our last point of support. It moves up, it gives us another last point of support, moves up, should be headed up. I mean, I feel like that's all I'm saying is, hey, it's going up, but that's the reality of our market right now, is we're probably just going to be moving up. 1 hour looks pretty good. It broke over this downtrend, and it's flipping positive. I would like to see it move up one more time, maybe not quite that steep. Move up one more time and then give us this. Man, that was a nice one too, and I deleted it. I right clicked and it went away. So again, your entries are here, here, or here on the retest of the breakout. Most of these shouldn't be going straight up without giving us some kind of retest. But that said, you look at something like Link, and I'm not sure that we're going to get this pullback. Like, it keeps turning up here. So it's very possible that I'm underestimating the move and we do just go straight up. But most likely, every time I think that, we end up getting our retest. So we're going to look at Uni. Let me know what else I've missed. NOIA, ORN. This one hit FTX pretty quick. Uni did. So we can start on Ftx Chart, which I appreciate. This looks a lot like the DeFi perp on FTX. So you had the all-time high here. Really a range low kind of in here. With this being our accumulation range. Almost got the retest of it there. So it looks good for expansion. What are we sitting at right now? We're almost to the second target. Man, this thing could run at 66 bucks. That's crazy. And to think they gave us all some of these. So if it 3x's from here, you've got a market cap of 18 billion. That's very reasonable. Where's FTT right now? FTT market cap is at only 1.8 billion. Am I seeing things here? That's crazy to me. I would suggest that speaks to how undervalued FTX is right now. The FTT token could definitely run hard. And I've already sold. I've already taken some profit on some and put it into other coins. But FTT is an easy hold. I'm already catching up, Noza. Plus, NOIA is like pretty much your name, just missing a couple of lines. Like if you add a line on the top and bottom of the I, you've got Noza. So I have to look at that one. The issue is I keep going back through here. I should like take notes somewhere of which coins I need to cover. And I'm not doing that. I just keep scrolling back each time I forget. I am the dog that's chasing the squirrel. And I get distracted really easily. Flat. This thing's gonna run. I just don't know what else to say. Up only. Up only minus the possibility of some kind of basing pattern here that would annoy most of us. Like literally we could just base like this and then go. So that would be quite annoying. But for the most part, I think it's going up. And you see the dollar is trending downwards on the lower time frames. If we get that red flip tomorrow, I think it only accelerates. So it would make a lot of sense for a lot of these coins to move up pretty quickly as well. Noza says to make sure to also shill HXRO. I actually don't have a very large bag of HXRO right now. I have some, don't get me wrong. This thing is an exchange, essentially. It's an options exchange where you can bet on Bitcoin will hit 20,000 by this date, or it'll hit 100,000 by this date. So it's pretty undervalued for sure, but it's really not moving anywhere right now. And this was a decent move. I got in like down 19 cents. So, this is a 30% move for me. So I've sold some of it off and just kind of waiting. This is a very illiquid coin, so there's not much to chart here. This one's been around for a while. I'm surprised that it's not chartable elsewhere. I mean, you can see just throwing some basic lines on here, you get all these retests. It's pretty simple. Oh, hitting things while I adjust in the chair here. You don't have to make all this stuff too complicated. You've got some lines there, and you've got an uptrend that is accelerating. And this 3-day candle looks great. It looks like it could really accelerate here. Accumulation pattern. Accumulate right above it. So yeah, we're probably heading higher pretty quick. I think that's a good chart. I think that's very actionable. It really didn't pull back very much during the recent dips, huh? Looks pretty strong. I wouldn't be surprised to see it run very soon. If you were not in a position, I don't know that you'd want to enter here, but we are kind of above support. So you could technically do something like this, or wait for it to move up and do some kind of continuation pattern here where you're getting in at these levels. ORN. Straight up. I bet that's shocking on the eyes, isn't it? Back to August of 2020. Yeah, so this is almost the entire price action of this one. $109 million market cap. Send it to $1 billion. Not much to really dissect here, technical analysis wise. We've got a flat here. That looks pretty solid. Let's go to the 1 hour. So this is the same structure as Link. Or YFII. Not Link. Another one that has this was Sushi. Broke the downtrend. Just barely missed a retest of the high here, right? Pretty dang close. But this for me is a support resistance flip, and it should be headed up pretty massively. If we measure this range right here, considering that the bulk of the price action, let's turn our volume profile on here, see where the bulk of the price action was in this actual piece. It was down here, really. So if this is where your price action is, we're almost to the first target. Your second target's around $10. After that, you're looking at accelerating 13 and higher. And I think that would be pretty simple to hit. Looking for a double up on this one. Let me show you what I mean on YFII. We'll use the calculated by trading view because I haven't drawn on it as much. Same thing right here. Support resistance flip, and it should be headed up. Sushi has done the same thing. Now, it wasn't quite the same support resistance flip. The B wave didn't get that high, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It actually gives you a pretty clear range to measure this next move up. And this thing is, man. Let's just go ahead and use that VPVR. This is my shortcut for right now. So all I'm doing is measuring that the volume happened in this area. So this is my my high to my low, and then projecting the targets from there. And you're easily looking at probably $27, even higher. What's market cap on Sushi right now? It's number 38. $2 billion. So if it doubles, it's still less than Uni. Yeah, so I think it has some pretty massive potential to reach those targets. Crazy to me to think that we could easily have bought this below a penny, below $1, I mean. And I just didn't hold through all this. It's about to run hard. It looks phenomenal. So here we got the red flip, and then flipped back positive. So this thing is about to go parabolic for sure, in my opinion. How does one find an exit in a parabolic move? That is a very difficult question to answer. Let's just look at Bitcoin real quick. I actually want to go further back. And I don't want my VPVR showing. I mean, this was kind of a parabolic move, right? So we have a drop here and move down and another drop. This is a trend break for me, right? Our higher low was here. So our trend is broken and you're looking to short on any bounce or sell on any bounce. Do you have the hands to hold this dip? Do you want to hold that dip? And probably not. So the only way to really do it for me is to kind of watch these patterns. Oops, crap. So each time we get one of these moves, we move up, I normally take some profits. I might close 30, 40, 50% of a position. And not specifically talking about spot right now because I'm so bullish right now. I haven't been taking profits on spot, but on long positions, leverage positions. And if we get these sideways moves, then I feel comfortable adding back in for another move up. So here you're just taking some profits as it moves up, and you're not re-entering because we didn't get this sideways move. If we go back to the 20K high, so this chart looks different than everything else. I mean, it literally had a retest at a high that lets you get out. %30 move. So here, the patterns get messier as it climbs, as price climbs. This was a good one. Kind of right in here was a good one. But as it moves up, you want to start taking some profits. Otherwise, you're going to end up getting hit with one of these that happens so quickly that you may not have time to get out. But we got a 4-hour MACD shift. I'm not going to be able to show you, I don't think. 1 hour flip red. So as momentum shows that it's no longer to the upside, you can definitely start taking some profits or hedging your position by shorting your holding, up to the amount of your holdings. Okay, I've gone through a ton. Did I miss anything? I think I charted everything everybody asked for. UniReef. We'll take a look at Litecoin. Litecoin's one that I haven't done. So I'll take Litecoin from the top, and we'll do it on Coinbase. Looks solid here. So we have a very obvious high, impulse high, range low, kind of here is a good point, and here is a good point, and you've got a lot of accumulation happening right in here, a little bit higher. Right in here. Final accumulation here. So this is a test. This is the last point of support, and we should be pretty much heading up to all-time highs now. Now I don't expect Litecoin to just get to all-time high and then crash, but I wouldn't rule out a retest of like this range. That would be pretty massive before the final move. I just want to glance at ETH real quick. Really kind of did it to this level, right? So if we count this as our rally, it pretty much retested that after getting close to the all-time high. So this level right here. Let me just move this up, which we already kind of talked about why this would be a good area to look at. So possibly Litecoin comes up like this, retests, and this isn't a target, I just drew a squiggly, but our target is pretty high. If this is our range, we're talking about pretty massive targets. 1,400, 7,200, $7 grand. Pretty insane. I think we'll see a lot of this happen during that final parabolic move. September to December for Litecoin. So this one follows Bitcoin a little bit better than a lot of the other coins. Like even Ethereum, the all-time high was in January, not in December. See right here. It had a high in December, or it really didn't. I mean, December was not much of anything for it. It had a retracement here, but then it had the high in January. Whereas Litecoin and Bitcoin both topped in December. Let's go back to Coinbase Litecoin, and we'll look at lower time frames here. It looks just like Bitcoin, honestly. It's kind of crazy, the similarities. So this is all an accumulation right here. Not much to chart here. This is probably a flat, and we're probably headed up. There's a nice little SR flip there. One hour has turned positive. So if we do get that pullback, we're looking at something like this. I don't know, YFI has turned red on the 15-minute. So yeah, I think we're starting the pullback here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. YFI USD. Oh, it didn't even turn positive here. So you go down to the 15-minute, and it really couldn't manage to break this area. So YFI, I'm looking at coming back down here. Probably somewhere in here. And as it flips back positive, that's a good entry. May do this. But I think this is kind of where we are on the low time frames. What else you guys got? I'm going to manage a couple of my positions, but if you got something, I'll take a look. MTA. Might scrape some profit on MTA here. Nah, it looks fine. I'm not going to touch it. I've got an add-on on Link that's not doing very well. Link also looks fine. If it comes down here, I lose too much money. I don't really think it's going to. So 5-minute looks like it might just turn back up. So if we get a blue flip on 5-minute, and this is what I'm looking at. I took an add-on position on Link that I really shouldn't have. So if 15-minute goes red, then I'll cut that add-on, but I'll leave my main position. Doge for the lulz. Doge is a piece of junk. I had a buddy. He's a really smart guy, but he doesn't invest in any of this stuff. And he messaged me from a Facebook post, and he told me he was going to buy Doge. I said, don't buy Doge, dude. Buy Link. That was back here. And Link since then has only gone up. Now I sent him a picture of how Link has only gone up since that point. This actually doesn't look bad though. So I'm not going to trade Doge. I'm not interested in Doge at all. But if it flips 4 hour positive, then you can definitely look for some entries to the upside. For me, I don't know what the best chart is here. Feel free to chime in. But if you look at the Bitcoin chart specifically, I'm only interested in Doge if it really retraces to down in here. We've got some kind of resistance type area here that we're sitting in right now. So if it starts to curve back up, like say it starts doing this, then yeah, we've got some new paradigm. I didn't mean to delete that, but you get the idea. If it holds this level, then we've got a new paradigm where Elon Musk has actually made Doge relevant. But until we start seeing that, I'm not interested in touching this. It's just too much of this pump and dump price action that could very well happen again. I already covered Leo. You're the one that asked for Leo. How'd you miss it? I will look at Neo though. Oh, Leo, I said I've got no insights up. But this is just a weird chart. It's not much there for me to chart. And honestly, that's how I feel about ETH right now too. If you look at an ETH, even on the daily, no, probably 8 hours better. Like, how do you dissect this? There's not much to say about that. What I will say is that usually when you have that kind of structure, it just moves up parabolically out of it. This weird uptrending stair step little thing ends up just moving up. Now this is a much higher time frame than what ETH is. And if you zoom out on ETH, it's already had a lot of that parabolic move. So I'm not suggesting at all that ETH is about to do what FTT did in 4x, even though I think that is very possible. I'm simply suggesting that out of this weird sideways chop, we're probably going to expand. We're probably going to accelerate. I think Neo has the best chart on Bitfinex. Still pretty young in its move here, huh? Yeah, it looks good. Looks really good. Just like these other coins, it's got this base here. It swept this low. Just looking at a weekly, I don't see a solid entry here. This looks like it would be a FOMO entry to me. But this was a solid entry where we retested the accumulation low. So the idea of what I'm calling an accumulation range is simply that somebody who wants to be positioned in one of these coins with a large position expanding out of this they'd be very happy with an average entry somewhere in the middle of the range. Now, that doesn't mean they're not buying down here, right? Like, this was the best place for somebody to be buying in. And then you add on risk. And as you're up here, you've got profits that you're able to risk and you're able to add to your position. Right now, you may not be adding to NEO at all, and I personally wouldn't. But just say that you're some trading firm that was getting into NEO. If NEO expands and your entry is right in here, then you're very happy with that. You've got a $28 entry on something that's going to go 10 or 100x from that. Oh, what a market we're in, guys. Absolutely crazy. XRP. I don't know what to tell you guys. This thing's going up. You can hate it as much as you want, but it's going up. It could very well run to all-time high. This was a deviation of the major range. And this is where somebody would want to be accumulating. And again, I mentioned it often lines up with this move. So it was rejected right here. And it often lines up with right in there. So you can see all the price action that's happened right at this level. So just a simple way, would I be buying right here on XRP? Probably not. Right here was a great buy. I was buying down here and I stopped paying attention and it ripped. I cut the position, so I wasn't in it when it did that rip. But I was looking at it on low time frames. This was a support resistance flip right here, right? We move up, resistance, flipped, support, and it mooned. And again, I'm suggesting that's the accumulation range low. Right here. So all this lower time frame price action happened right there at it. All right, we've gone through a lot of charts. If somebody else has something, I'll take a look. Otherwise, I'm going to cut it off and call it a day. I'm about to open my other exchange here. If you have any questions or any chart requests, let me know. No problem, Millie Ranga. Thanks for hanging out. Let me know, are you on Twitter or in the Discord? Appreciate you being around while we chat. Look at some charts. Yeah, I'm going to cut probably 50% of my YFI here, and probably 40%. And then I'm going to add back on when I see an add-on. Did I go through BCH? Nope. I'll go through BCH real quick. BSV maybe too. Let's look at BCH and BSV, and then I'm going to call it quits. Yeah, this thing's definitely going to go. This whole piece right here was incredibly bullish, and you've got some accumulation here. Interesting pattern compared to most of the coins, but this probably gets back to at least this 1850 level before any significant correction. So for me, this was some kind of weird flat right here. As we reverse this downtrend, I mean, it's just tough to do that. So we've got this weird structure, and we tried to reverse it, and now we're finally starting to trend out of it a little more quickly. I'd still be expecting some kind of weird price action to come before it's really home free, but it looks solid for a move up here. This looks like a flat. So if it pulls back, there's a buy kind of right in here. For this kind of move. But it may not pull back yet. It may come up one more time. Targets are really 1800 and all-time high. I'm not playing BCH, but I do still see some major potential. Not sure the best chart to look at BSV on. Let's see if... I think there's something with longer history. But it might be imagining things. Yeah, let's just look at BSV on here. See, I think right now this is probably a better trade than BCH. So we've got this massive flat. So pretty much you have to imagine it came down. Oops. I can't see nothing. Why can't I draw? Oh, I can't draw behind price action. Nope, it won't let me at all. That's crazy. I did not know that. So it came down here and came up all in concept. So it was one with BCH with a theoretical value up here when they did the split. It came down here and came up, and you got a flat here. So now it's still in this accumulation behind the flat with absolutely massive potential out of this accumulation range. So this looks really majorly bullish to me. Pretty much like this. And we've got probably a flat right here. A lot of people ask me for targets. I've literally been intentionally putting my targets off the screen. Targets are when I'm ready to take profit. As crazy as that is, for the most part, I'm not setting take profits or anything like that until I see how price action plays out. You've got some potential pain points on this. I would expect it to break this level. I would expect it to break this level. And I would expect it to break this level. But each one could give you a pullback first. Probably not that one too much. So you can take some profits at each one and then get back in. And that puts you in a better position for any potential larger dips. Like, what if you're wrong and it doesn't just continue up? Then you've taken profits and you're in good shape. So thanks for bringing up BCH. I know I talked about BSV a little more, but you have convinced me that it's probably time to go buy some BSV very soon. Maybe even now. it may not dip any further. But it looks like the market is dipping here. YFII is. Link is holding pretty well. I'm also building a pretty significant position on Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin steals the show soon. So let's look at Bitcoin 1 hour. I haven't marked this up at all on FTX. So last chart. Promise. I know I said that already. Flat. You got W, X, Y, flat. And this is really it. So for me, you've got an A, B, and we're in C. C is typically the strongest. An A, B, C here. So I think Bitcoin does steal the show this week. Maybe we get some news that somebody accumulated. Y'all probably saw the tweet today about the whale, whatever it is. Let me find Jack's. They were saying somebody bought 5 billion, but really it was just a it was only a Binance internal move. So they talked about this massive bubble. But more importantly, somebody's definitely been sending some pretty big orders through. So if somebody's sending some big orders through, then that could definitely be accumulation of a company larger than MicroStrategy. I don't know that it's Apple, but it could be somebody pretty large that's trying to get some of these coins in these little areas. They're trying to pick some up. Now, this really doesn't show buys. It shows wallets. So I don't really know that this is all that useful. But my idea this entire time is that we have an accumulation going on in this area. And you can see my hourly accumulation pattern on my Bitstamp chart. And this is a larger. I don't know what that is. Why do I have that? Oh, that's one of my targets. We're right in one of my targets. So that's kind of a concern. Actually, that explains why we're... Wow. That explains why we're chopping through here, right? If we're in a target, then we're seeing an area that makes sense for a larger reaccumulation. And this has been my theory for a while, and what I'm thinking is either we just come all the way up, even out of this. That would be pretty strong, though. And then come back and retest the high. My low target would be to tap this accumulation range one more time. But if I'm right, somebody's probably defending this. Somebody probably has orders in here to make sure that this holds. They probably have money ready to make sure that this holds. And it's held very well ever since I posted this. So looks like up to me, huh? Send it. Bitcoin's going. Meanwhile, YFI is still retracing a little bit. YFII is holding okay-ish. Link is just kind of floating. Looks like it's going to drop a little bit. All right, that's what we got. We'll see you guys in the next one.